Yeah, well, good evening. Welcome to Sky Blue Fans TV. We have got a packed out show for you this evening. So we're not going to hang around. We're just going to crack on with it. We've got coming up for you what went wrong on Monday. Also, who has to start this weekend on Saturday afternoon, 12:30 kickoff. If we don't get anything from this game and other results don't go our way, is the playoffs off? Are we strong enough to fight with the pressure that's coming up this weekend? We'll also be joined around about 8:30 by Ollie from OK Football Show off YouTube to give us his views on the Luton Town match this weekend. Also, we've got our very own Stato. Yes, Jack's here tonight, and he will be telling us all about this season's stats regarding the kits home and away versus previous years. Another sellout game against Middlesbrough, absolutely sold out. There's only corporate left now. And we look back at the weekend down in Plymouth, some of the photos and what we got up to as fans. And is it still in our hands? And also, please, 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 tonight, we're not going to single out any players because it's been awful this week on social media. It's been dreadful what I've been seeing, photos, things like that, videos, just dreadful, singling people out. We're not here to do that. We're here to support the team and hopefully get behind them this weekend and finally, cement our place in that playoff semi-finals as long as other results go our way and we get a win. So we're not going to single anyone out. I don't want to see anyone singling anyone out because that isn't what we're about. Also, we've got coming up tonight, you can vote now. It is email only. Get your vote in for player of the season. Enter with a chance to win next season's home shirt or away shirt. All you got to do is email us. It's going across the bottom of the screen. Please only enter via email. That way we can keep an eye on who's messaging in. We can then do a spreadsheet and we can add you to spin a wheel. And at the end of the season, we'll spin the wheel and whoever comes up first will win next season's home shirt or away shirt. So please get your emails across for your player of the season. As I say, do not mention it on here because we won't be able to keep tabs of what's going on. So if you can please enter via email. Here you go. There's our poster. As we'll get that up now as well. So you can have a little nose at that. Vote your player of the season. Email us and you can win next year's home or away shirt. Right then. Okie dokie. Let's get the crew in, shall we? Should we get them all in? Come on then. Let's get Claudio in. Good evening, Claudio.
In Mars. All good?
All good, all good. Bit of a cold again. I don't know how. Another chest infection, I think. Second one in about 3 weeks. So,
you need to move into hospital, mate.
I ain't moving into no hospital. I'll never come out. Good evening, Vicky.
Good evening.
Good evening. And good evening, Jack, our very own Stato Jack. He's going to give us a slideshow a little bit later on, ain't you, mate?
Yeah, evening, everybody. Looking forward to it.
Evening. Right, before we get the show going, then we'll talk about what went wrong on Monday, because I know you did an after show straight after the game, so we won't dwell on it too much. But let's spot the ball up. Let's get your guesses in. Everyone can have a little go tonight. Get your guesses in tonight. You can win a prize. Now, the prize tonight is 2 tickets to see Micky Quinn at the Walsgrave Working Men's Club next Friday. So a week tomorrow, you will win 2 tickets tonight. Whoever gets this right will win 2 tickets. There's Hadji Wright trying to play against Plymouth on Monday. He didn't have a bad game, really, I thought. There was a few little occasions where, it didn't quite go his way. But he banged a goal in, which was nice. Got him on the score sheet. And have a little guess. Where do you think the ball is? See where you think it is there and get your guesses in tonight. And you can win wherever they are. Where are they gone? There they are. You can win 2 tickets to see Micky Quinn. Now, there is 4 there. The reason there's 4 is because there's another 2 tickets up for grabs on Sunday. So if you don't win tonight, you get another chance on Sunday as well. Right then, let's get the panel in and we'll have that little discussion, what we mentioned at the beginning of the show. Vicky, we'll come to you first. Where do you think it went wrong on Monday?
I think we got the lineup wrong to start with, and then I just think that they tactically outthought us at the beginning, and then we just didn't have enough intensity. It was one of those games, and I think me and Claudio spoke about it after the game, that sometimes you can just tell early on that it's going to be one of those days, because if we don't start with intensity, we don't very often build up to that. We have to come out all guns blazing, and we didn't really. It was well, I think it was a combination of wrong line-up and wrong aptitude.
And what do you think made us have that sort of mentality or that attitude? Do you think, was it that, I mean, maybe has the pressure got a little bit too much for them, do you think, or is it that, you know, there's a bit of a hangover for the long journey down them, because they would have gone down Sunday, stopped over Sunday night? Do you think that can play a part in it?
I don't know. I mean, as professional footballers, they're travelling a lot, aren't they? They should be relatively used to that. I mean, I think sometimes maybe we try to overanalyze it. I think, like, especially as Coventry City fans, we know that we throw the games like this up during the season with no real obvious reason. We've done it every season. There's always games that you pick out and you just think, what happened there? That's not the same team that we've seen in other games. It just felt like nobody was on their game, and you can afford to maybe carry one or two players that are underperforming, but when you got like 11 players off the ball, and then you got Plymouth team fighting for their lives, those two things coming together, it's only going to be one result, really, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, they were definitely fighting. Now, just before we carry on, Mark Cunningham's put in his player of the season. Mark, we need you to email in, mate. I did say at the beginning, if you can email your player of the season in, that would be easier for us to be able to keep an eye on everybody. Please don't put it in the chat tonight, because we can't monitor everything that's going on, along with Spot the Ball as well. Spot the Ball's great. Keep your answers coming in. Absolutely brilliant. Jack, we'll come to you. What I mean, Vicky touched on some good points there. You know, Plymouth fighting for their lives. It's a small, tight ground. It's a small, tight ground. They've got a new stand now been built. I thought the first 20 minutes was a little bit cagey from both teams, but even both sets of fans were quite nervous. I think the Sky Blue Army weren't as loud as we normally are throughout the game. I mean, can you put your finger on that performance?
I think the drive down was too pleasant and the weather was too nice, and it put us on edge. Everything's set up to be a perfect day other than the football. I mean, it was a great weekend. I know you guys were down there all weekend. It was just fantastic. So it obviously was going to go wrong at some point, and unfortunately, that was the match, not the M5. I'd have rather have had a crap journey home and got the 3 points, but hey-ho. I actually read a stat. It's not my stat. I read it. I think we've only won once on Easter Monday in the last 19 attempts.
That's right. They said that on Sky as well. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So doomed to lose or not win. And yeah, Plymouth are fighting for their lives. They don't make it easy. They put as many men behind the ball as they can. They let us pass it around in our own half. As soon as we got into their half, they were on us. They're big. They're direct, they're route one, they capitalise on the mistakes that we know we're prone to make. They had the perfect game plan and we played right into their hands, unfortunately. Could it have been a little bit different if we'd have took our chances towards the end? You know, Hadji missed a header, directed a header from about 2 yards out straight at the keeper. On another day, could that have gone in and could the game been different? Yes, it could have. But I'd rather him, you know, maybe that goal would have made it 3-2 and nothing more would have happened. Maybe against Luton, he'll have half a chance and score. So we don't know. But I think Plymouth played their game plan perfectly. They're fighting for their life. They're quite good at home, and they did the business on us.
Yeah, I mean, when we spoke to some fans after the game, we walked down. We heard about traffic on the motorways. We thought we'd stay for an hour, and we were talking to some Plymouth fans, and they said if they go off their home form recently, and it was just home form, they'd probably be top of the league, which is a bit bad, really. So, yeah, I mean, it is a tough place to go. Claudio, I mean, you had your show after the game. What was people's sort of opinions on the game on that show Monday? Sorry, not Saturday, Monday. I'm all over the place. I thought it was Friday today, and it's not. It's Thursday.
I think Vicky will agree. People were just puzzled by the attitude, the performance levels, the desire, the fight to win the game. This is a team we'd beaten 4-0 at Christmas, and they looked like a bottom of the league side, didn't they? I mean, we just went out there, and the first 40 minutes, it looked like it was going for a 0-0, didn't it? At the half time, nothing was happening really. It was poor value, and if we're honest, I think we've won 6 away games this season. 4 of those have been extremely fortunate in some of the games, So we've rode our luck a lot, and I think it just wasn't going to happen, and the attitude wasn't right, and they're trying to stay in the division. And I said this before: we're in a position where if we don't go up, it's no big deal. We'll still be top 8 next season, whereas Plymouth cannot afford to get relegated, and they are proper fighting to stay in this division. And the way we played reflected that. There's too many players were not on it. And for once, Frank Lampard was annoyed. You could see it. Visually, he was annoyed. He didn't want to do that interview at the end. He wanted to get back in that changing room. Quite rightly so. It was just rubbish, really, wasn't it?
Well, I got a picture of Frank walking off. Is this it? There you go. That's him walking off. That was with. We were all singing. We were cheering the boys. We were singing. We were doing everything, and you could see there by his body language that he's not very best pleased. And if you see the poster for tonight's show, that was him standing on the pitch yesterday for the players' day with the junior Sky Blues. And I think tonight is at Bedford Supporters Club having a meeting with them tonight. And you could tell in his interview, I listened to it, but then I watched it as well. His interview, you can tell he just didn't want to be there. He just wanted to just get it all done and dusted, get back and sort it out back at the training ground. So whatever's been going on this week is probably a distraction that he hasn't really needed, isn't it, really, going into this game coming up this weekend?
And also, Miles, I thought the questioning from Clive was poor. It was a bad defeat. You don't start trying to get him to name players he thought were poor on the day. Collectively, they were poor from top to bottom. Yeah. Nobody came out of that with any kind of, anything great. And when you look at the division itself, I've said this before, you've got the top 3 are way ahead. Sheffield United should get promoted out of this division via the playoffs anyway, if they play to their standards. You've got Sunderland, who have been a freak this season with the start they had. Then you've got about 8 clubs, and we're part of those 8 clubs are very, very close squad-wise. And it doesn't take much to get you into that playoff. And then you've got the rest of the division, the bottom half, basically. It's so close. And you can see how close it is by the amount of points. We could actually, bizarrely, 2 more points could get us into the playoffs still if results go our way. And that's quite low, isn't it, for the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I thought Monday, when I seen the team, we were talking about it in the morning, weren't we? We were sending messages to each other. We heard that there was going to be 2 changes. Had a feeling it was going to be those 2 changes, and I think I said to the guys who we were staying with, I said, if Ben Sheaf is rested, it's because he can't play 3 games within a week, because it was he played 70 minutes at Hull, full 90 minutes against West Brom, and then to play another, say, 70 minutes or 90 minutes, I think would have been a little bit too much for him. So you could see that change coming. But I'm with you guys. I just thought that the attitude just wasn't there. They wasn't at it. None of them looked like they wanted it enough on Monday, as if like they're saving their energy for Luton and they're saving their energy for Middlesbrough to go for the last 2 games to sneak into the playoffs. That's how it looked, because this game coming up this weekend is massive, and we all know what we're like at Luton. And I know what you're going to do later, Claudia. You're going to do stats and all that, aren't you? And it's all going to go Pete on. Yeah. And you know what happens when you do that. But the fans, I thought we were really quiet before kickoff. I mean, I didn't get into the ground until about 5 minutes before because I was outside with a friend come up from Dawlish, and I haven't seen him for ages. So we met up, had a couple of drinks.
Can I just say, Miles, that's ridiculous. You were there for 2 days and you got there 5 minutes before the kickoff.
I did, yeah. I did. Honest, I was outside. I was outside in the fan zone. I was talking to me mate. Here's me mate. Where is he? Here he is, Kevin.
That's brilliant.
There he is, Kevin.
I was there 2 days early, missed the kickoff.
No, I didn't miss kickoff. I got there before kickoff. But no, there's Kevin, me mate. Look, from Dawlish, and it was great because we hadn't seen each other for ages, and it was really good. But this is what the away fans look like. Look at that. It was just brilliant. And at the end of the game, they gave a massive, I mean, we were singing for ages after the game, trying to, give the boys a bit of a lift because we knew they needed a lift after that game. And for me, I don't know. I like you said, I mean, Jack, you said the sun was shining. It was lovely. It was sunny all weekend. Everyone said, oh, it's going to rain. It never rained. It was brilliant, and I don't know. Was it that they are saving themselves? I'm not too sure. All right, before we get some comments in, let's bring up Spot the Ball. Have a guess. See where you think the ball is. Where is the football? Have a little guess, and you can win 2 tickets to see Micky Quinn next Friday at the Walsgrave Merkin Men's Club. Here you go. There's the tickets. So you can get your guesses in, and you can win 2 of those tickets for next Friday at Walsgrave Working Men's Club. Right, then, let's get some comments in then, Claudio, please.
Yeah, here we go then. So lots of hellos. Thank you for all the hellos in the evenings. Onyx Freight, yes, all in our hands, of course. Pato has got to be a starter this week. Looked good when he had more time against Plymouth. Harry74, embarrassing performance on Saturday. Or that'd be Monday, wasn't it? The only consolation is FL was fuming. Massive clear out needed in the summer. Assassin's Unite. Hi, fellas. 2 draws is all we need. Go for it, City. Back the boys and management team. Super Frank Sky Blue Army. Of course, 2 draws is enough as long as Millwall don't win one of their games. Good evening, all. Thought we were second best on Monday. And yes, I don't like the white kit either. I'm off to Luton on Saturday. Hopefully they'll play better, or I fear the worst. Offer of Mercia. It's now or never, guys. I fancy Middlesbrough might only need a point at the CBS. City, on the other hand, might need a win. Frank has to find a way to beat the low block. Wendy Heron. Evening. I agree. A lot of the stuff on social media the last few days has been vile. I think you're right, Wendy. I mean, Miles was correct to call it out as well. I mean, what annoys me, you can guarantee some of the ones doing it hadn't even gone to the game. There's no need for it. Mark Light, sorry. Well, Nation Radio, Tony reckons it's too much beer, Miles.
I think Tony had too much beer Saturday.
Maybe that's what you're saying. I think he left the words "I had too much beer," Miles, on the sentence there. Mark Light, sorry. Even if we get to the playoffs, we're not good enough to go up. Team battles, high pressure games. It's interesting though, because I've said this. I was talking to Jim Brown on our podcast last night, and I just said, if you get to the playoffs, you scrap the rest of the season. It's like the Carabao Cup, isn't it then? 2-legged game and a final. Anything can happen. As long as you get a useless referee, you might have a chance as well, as long as he's in our favour, of course. Doug Bolam, even all, not keen on this 12:30 kickoff. Really don't want this result to play into the other playoff chasing teams' hands. I thought that. What do you reckon, guys? I think it's a bit off, isn't it, that we're playing? Because I looked at the other fixtures thinking they'll all be playing at 12:30, but they're not, are they? So I think it's not right when it's 2 games to go. I really don't.
Well, I don't like it because I'm DJing tomorrow night. I've got to be up early, pick Tyler up Saturday morning, drive to Neil's, and then leave Neil's at 9 a.m. I ain't going to be home till 2. And then I'm DJing Saturday night.
And for those who are interested, we're going to go live at 5 o'clock on Saturday as well. Yeah. So hopefully Vicky, Ken and Jack, if he can make it back, will be back by then. and we'll do an impromptu show, and then we'll do one on Sunday as well. Assassins Unite, Rudy, player of the season, hands down. Lampard, manager of the season, hands down. SBA, fans of the season, hands down. Mark says Rudy as well. I think Rudy's going to get a lot of votes, actually.
Yeah, if you can all send them in via email, please. We can't keep a track of them on the comments. If you can send them over via email, that would be great, please.
Assassins Unite says Millwall will not win at Burnley, so 2 draws needed. Yeah, because them and Leeds will want to win the league, won't they? Put it behind us, says Assassins Unite. The lineup changes were inevitable. Sheaf can't play 2 games in 3 days, and bidders needed a run out. On the up, Claudio, your hair looks fuzzy tonight. It does. I've still got the lips, haven't I? That's ridiculous, isn't it? And I realised that peacock impression I did was the mating call. So that's a bit dodgy, isn't it? I've got visions of a load of peacocks outside the house now, queuing up. And, DJ Drums, too much sideways and backwards passing. We've been the same all season. We don't seem to have the confidence to run at people. Possession doesn't win games. We've proved that time and time again. What I will say is, Lampard is trying to win games with a squad that was made up by Mark Robbins. So it's very difficult to know what's going to happen next season, because I can't imagine all these players are going to be here. I don't know what you guys think to that. It's going to change, surely.
Yeah. I just look, at the end of the day, I think so I've just talked to the others. I've just realised I've done something wrong on the old email.
Oh, right. Nicholas James, I was pleased to see Frank absolutely fuming in his post-match interview. Angriest I've seen him. And by Jay's interview, it felt like they had a massive rollicking, and rightly so. I just hope that everyone is having their worst game all at the same day and done with. Mark Packham, on Saturday, we had to play with all guns blazing. We need to fight for everything and show some passion to win, because against Plymouth, we were pants. Graham Cockrell, when I heard we were playing in white, I had a bad feeling. Why couldn't we have played in sky blue? Wayne Brewerton, I think if the ref sent off their striker, which was blatant red, result would have been different. Just need to show up Saturday. That was a bizarre challenge. That was on the up. We let them off the hook by not showing desire all over the pitch. Nation Radio, no problem getting back for us. Mick Kelly, 73% possession, 60% passing across our back line didn't help. And Nicholas James says, we need to go to Luton, really fight for 3 points. Nobody appears to be giving us a chance of a win, so let's go and help relegate them. We owe them one. Poetic justice, I would say. Sorry, Miles, you can say?
We said on Sunday night when we had the live show, and by the way, thank you very much for everyone that turned up at the hotel. Absolutely brilliant. So thank you so much. But I was saying on Sunday, I don't know if you've noticed the last few games, we've started to not cross the ball in. We're trying to walk it in. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. And it was Monday was a prime example. I think that must be the worst game I've seen us where we're not putting the press or putting the crosses in. There was no one. We never even give it Sakamoto for the first half an hour, 45 minutes. Sakamoto hardly touched the ball. I was gobsmacked. It kept going down over to the left hand side to Hadji Wright all the time. There was no switch in play. It was the same thing repeated over and over again. And you know, you can't. Hadji Wright isn't really a crosser of the ball, where, you know, when you got EMC or you got Patterson or Rodoni plays out onto the left, you're getting the crosses in. I feel we've sort of gone backwards in the way we're playing. You know, we were top for scoring the most goals from crosses and headers, weren't we? All of a sudden, they've all dried up. And this is the thing. And I pointed it out on Sunday. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that. Jack, have you noticed anything like that?
What about the fact that the Plymouth were shifted across, weren't they? They were shifted to actually stop Milan and Tat's play. And if you noticed, it was every time the ball went to our right hand side, the Plymouth players were 1 meter, 2 meters from them. leaving Bidwell completely free. But what threat did Bidwell pose in the final third? He didn't. And like you say, Hadji's not a crosser. He's a dribbler and take on players. And by that point, Plymouth had got everyone back. You know, they've got good tall defenders, even midfielders. And every time the ball was in the air, they were heading it. So even if the ball went like we played a ball down the channel, they would just head it out of play. They're not very good players, but if they can get their head on the ball, they will, and they will win it. And they did it very successfully. Not necessarily in any direction of, clearing it correctly or playing it onto the next man. If they could head it, they would head it. And they just head it out and deal with the consequences because they know they can. Again, like I said, I think they set up to stop us playing, and they did it perfectly.
Yeah.
Hector says Lampard got the tactics wrong. Mark Rainbow. We found out what Frank is like when he's livid on Monday after the game. Assassin's United, what was Lampard meant to say? Exactly, it was a weird question. Paul Stratton, let's hope he has got into the team this week as Monday's performance was spineless. On the up, we were cheering due to the playoff teams losing as well. So a point will do Saturday for a winner takes all against Middlesbrough. Cookie Disco, when has Clive asked a good question? Nicholas James, Clive Eakins interviews are cringeworthy a lot of the time, but with awful questions. Oh, hope he's not watching tonight. Harry74, I think FL tried squad rotation, resting to Silver and Sheaf, but it backfired as Alan and Bidwell were miles off it. This lack of confidence spread through the team and was compounded by mistakes. Jamie Allen looked like a dwarf, didn't he, on that pitch? He looked so small. They've got some big players, Plymouth, haven't they? It's a bit ultimatum. You got to, yeah. Weren't right. I worry Luton will bully us, says Wayne Littlewood. Sit back and hit us on the break. We will spend most of the game passing backwards and sideways. But please, please, please do not play in white. Peter Stevenson. I'm hoping for reaction from the players on Saturday. I'd like to think that we've had a rocket up them after Monday. There's one thing that Frank Lampard said, and I think you probably all agree. When he came in, if he'd said to him November, 2 games to go, you sat 6 and you're in the driving seat to get in the playoffs, would you take it? You'd take it, wouldn't you? And that's where we are, and that's the positive we've got to take into the last 2 games. We're there on merit. Wherever we think of the performance on Monday, we're still there on merit. What's worrying is how Wright can only seem to play at home. His away performance is so bad for most of the time. So that's Wayne Littlewood. I don't know. What do you reckon, Vicky? That's the same for a lot of the players, I think, especially the forwards.
There's a good few players that just, we've discussed it a few times over the season, haven't we, that for some reason, some players can only really show what they're about when they're at home. I think Torp's another one. It's hard. And it's a problem, isn't it? Because it means that we're all struggling away from home if we're relying on any of those players. So, yeah, it's a weird one. So is it just that we line up wrong? Do we just need two different styles, home and away, and we pick different players accordingly? Then we need some more depth, then, don't we? And that's a problem as well.
Rich T, how can our attitude be so different in consecutive games? These are professionals. I'm sure it's not a lack of effort, as success can only benefit the players as well. But that is how it looked. Plymouth are only 16th in the home table. On the up says, Miles spent more time at the bar. Is that you? Is that because you were getting the drinks in, Miles, for everybody else?
Yeah, paying for Ubers and making sure everyone got to their destination properly and no one went missing. Yeah.
Let me guess, you were the only one with the app.
No, the others had the app, but when you're trying to organise people, it's hard work, isn't it? I think that's what they've all made me ill. Them lot.
Oh.
Assassins United.
Worrying about them all.
Assassins United. I like Clive because he's commentated on us for 25 years of mainly crap football, but sometimes words fail me.
I was that interview. He fished twice, didn't he? He fished twice, and we're not. As I said tonight, we're not going to single out players, and it's not about that. And I think if you're a professional journalist and you're working for a big company like the BBC, then you've really got to be getting your questions right. And so ask twice. Nah, don't work. You wouldn't get us asking it twice, would you?
Yeah, and also
we're amateurs. You know what I mean? We're amateurs. We wouldn't ask that question twice. As soon as someone said, "No, I ain't talking about it," you go, "Okay, right, let's move on to the next thing."
Yeah, and I'm not sure he'd have done that with Mark Robbins.
No, he wouldn't have done. No.
You know what I mean? I don't think he would have done. Nicholas James, the players, Owen and Frank, a real fighting, competitive, quality performance on Saturday. Our fans need to be loud in that potting shed of a ground. Our players need to be bullied, not be bullied, and impose themselves on them. Get our nose in front, put the pressure on Luton. Hey, Nicholas James, you need to do the team talk, I reckon. I like it. Robin Fletcher, once again, the ref bottled it. I just think Jamie should have rolled around.
Yeah, too honest.
He should have rolled around.
Got straight back up, didn't he?
Yeah. Steve Curry, I hope we play with the back five on Saturday and try something different. 3 in midfield, 2 strikers. I'll be amazed because he loves his 4-3-3. Dan, the injuries have caught up on us. Dovin is a huge miss. Mark Rainbow, we have to use our right side. We keep plugging way down the left and kept getting the same result, nothing. Miles was right at the start. Bat them all. We are fans, which is short for fanatics.
Yeah.
Mark Richardson, hi all. I'll spot the boys had to go on that. Dan, if we finish top 6, it boils down to having a bigger winning margin than the away leg. Beer can, shout out to my daughter's cheerleading team. She's coach of Coventry Dynamite Ladies.
Well, they won, didn't they, in Florida?
World champions. Yeah, world champions. Clive just interviewed them on CWR. He only got a name wrong once. Brilliant. Liam
what's the name, Beer Can? What's the name?
Oh dear. Liam was. I'm sorry, but if you can get a shot off at Collins, you'll score. I was fully backing the guy a few weeks ago. I'd like to see Benny in goal Saturday. Anthony Pettifer, if you do the business, then early results help us apply pressure. Doug Bowden, Claudio, it doesn't matter if people have been to the game or not. Don't single out individual players, full stop. Back the team. Yeah, I'm saying because they didn't go to the game, I think they think it makes it easier for them to, put all nonsense out on social media because they can immediately because they're there, aren't they, at home? But it's just, I'm sure they're there at the keyboard ready to do it. You know what I mean? It's pathetic at times. Buzz A was Davian, but only Jack Radoni wins now.
Buzz A, you can email your player of the season. That'd be great. It's going across the bottom of the screen. As I mentioned earlier on, please don't put your player of the season in here, in the group chat here, because we can't keep an eye on it. We can't put your names into the hat, and you might miss out on winning next season's shirt or home shirt or away shirt. Sorry.
Great to see Vicky and Miles Friday. We're staying overnight after the Middlesbrough game to celebrate end of the season till the playoffs, hopefully. Joe Burnham, can't ignore Collins' mistakes again, but I've not seen many fans have a go at Milan for being absolutely pants on Monday. Absolutely pants.
There was no one that you could even give man of the match to on Monday. Probably just to Hadji for scoring the goal. That's about it. But yeah, none of them turned up. Really,
I think that's what's wrong, though, isn't it, Claudio? That so you've got the players that are less popular get over the top criticism, and to the point of like some of these things are really vile, and then players that are fans' favourites get no criticism at all, even when they've made mistakes. And we can the balanced view is the game went badly wrong. The tactics were wrong. Some of the players were wrong. None of them really turned up. A couple of players made mistakes, and that's the balanced view. But picking out just the players you don't like to give them over the top criticism, and then ignoring the ones that like can do a few fist pumps and saying and forgetting that they made mistakes too. That's what's wrong about it all, really, isn't it? I think for me, like.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Rich T, there was too much sideways and backward passing. I thought we'd moved on from that. I remember Collins saving a penalty from Gyökeres, I believe.
Yeah.
Loads of people are emailing in, by the way, so keep your emails coming in. I've just checked it. Peter Stevenson's just said an email ping back. Yeah, I noticed something on the email. If you can just redo it, that'd be great.
Wayne Litwood, Claudio, I'm with you. Things have to change in terms of players. The team has glimpses of brilliance, but we're so inconsistent, which is frustrating. And it isn't Frank Lampard's squad either. That's what we've got to realise. So I think we're doing pretty well. Realms of possibility. Vardy is leaving Leicester. Would we be wrong to sign him if we go up? He might come because of how close Cov is, and Lampard, a straight swap for Sims.
He's off to America, the news reckons.
He'll go somewhere like that, won't he, from Minnie?
Yeah.
Steve Price says, at least if we lose to Luton, we could relegate Cardiff every cloud. Wayne Little says, what strikers would be your targets for next season? I'll be gutted if we stick with Wright and Sims. I don't you lot. I'm useless at things like this because I never know who's available, to be honest.
Well, I said to you a few weeks ago, didn't I, Claudio, that if we went up, there'd be one player I'd like us to sign, and I'd like to sign Josh Sargent.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout.
I think he's a player that would fit into Frank Lampard's mentality, the way he picks up the ball and he can bang a goal in. I think he's one for me, Josh Sargent. And with Norwich the way they are, they've struggled this year. They've got no money left now, have they? They had no parachute payment this year. They've got even less money now where they're finished in the table. I think for me, he would be one of my players that I would probably go out and get. What about you, Jack?
Yeah, and he knows Hadji from his time with the USA squad. So already you've got a bit of chemistry brewing there. Yeah, Sargent's a class act. If he could stay fit, he'd have been top goal scorer in this division for 3 or 4 years in a row. He wouldn't, because he'd have been snapped by a Premier League club by now. I fear that if he was someone we got and then he was always injured, would we have the same moaning drivel? Oh, he's always injured. Why have we bought a player like this? Because he is always injured. That's the problem. I've got my cousin's a Norwich fan, and he'll say he's the best player in the league when he's fit, which is for 10 games a season. So, yeah, what a class signing, but injury problems is the concern.
Vicky, is there anyone you would like?
No, Sargent's a good shout, isn't he? Trying to think. Well, a bit like Claudio, I sort of forget who. I watch games and you think, oh, they're good, I like that. And then by the time you come to talk about it, you forget who you thought was good. And I can't actually think of anyone off the top of my head now. So there are people, I just can't think.
I mean, that lad that plays for Plymouth, not the big lad, the other one with the mullet. What was his name?
Hardy. So he's good.
Hardy. Yeah, he's good. He's all right.
Yeah.
He might be a good little acquisition to the team. To be fair, he seemed quite pacey as well, didn't he? He seemed pretty quick.
We need somebody like Josh Sargent who can move off the ball quick and off the last defender. A clever player, a clever forward. That's what we need. Who can run channels and all that. All our strikers can't do that, I'm afraid. They're not Victor. Even Matty Godden could run the channels. You know, if you get a Matty Godden who's 22, that'd be brilliant.
I seen the goal Vic scored at Luton in that draw that we drew. Was it 3-3, wasn't it? And Hamer's goal. And when that, because I think just before Vic scored, he missed one, didn't he? Yeah. And then the ball got played out wide, and it was way ahead of him, and even the defender was at least 5 yards ahead of him, and he beat the defender. He beat the defender to the ball, cut inside, and just bang into the net. And you know, that's what you wanted from Sims. That's what you want. Yeah, but that's what you wanted from Sims. Because of the size of him, you thought Sims could do a similar sort of thing, but he hasn't delivered that, has he? Unfortunately, and it's such a shame because you can see there's a player in there. There's a player really in there because you know when he scored his goals last season and that chance he had at Hull last week, and he was. Everyone was telling me when he's running towards you, he looks like a monster. He's huge and he's a powerhouse, and you think. When you watch that Victor goal and you go, oh, if only Sims could do that, it'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? And, you know, but maybe he might do it. He might do it this Saturday, mightn't he? He might pick it up on the halfway line, run through them all and barge them all off and slot it into the corner. You never know, do you?
I bet you won't.
It's funny though how things change. I just was thinking, when you were saying about Colin saving the Victor penalty back. I mean, that was like going back a fair few seasons now. But I remember everyone was moaning saying that Vic wasn't going to be good enough because he missed that penalty. It was, I think, was it the first game or the first away game? It was like really
first away game of the season.
And everyone's going, we're going to struggle this season because we've got strikers that aren't good enough, blah, blah, blah. And then look what happened after that. Now we...
I know.
We won't play that so quickly, so often.
Yeah.
Dan says we need a number one keeper for August and Fad's replacement. They are the first two priorities. Alan Arkins, please let Bobby Thomas be fit to start and Latibaudiere go back to the bench. He's diabolical. Doesn't like Latibaudiere. Buzz 8, I think the reception the fans gave players at the end of the match Monday was amazing considering the performance. Surely the players will respond positively to that brilliant reception from fans. I think the fans, we've done more than enough this season. Wayne Ghost, if we get a point and Borough, Millwall, Blackburn all lose, that's done and dusted, right? True, and it can happen. It can happen. Yeah. Have a shot and goal might help, just a thought. 2 draws, Blackburn can amass 68 and their goal difference only one worse.
Bristol don't play till Monday, and they've got Leeds. Yeah,
exactly. And Leeds want to win the league, so I
want us to finish 5th. I want 5th. Yeah. We've got to finish 5th. I don't care what anyone says. We have to finish 5th. I don't want to play Sheffield United over 2 legs. I want to play them in the final. Hamer's going to get booked. Do you know what? I had a dream last night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a dream last night that Hamer got 2 yellow cards in the last 2 games.
Yes, your dreams are so much different to mine, Miles. I had a dream. I had to explain to Caroline why I felt guilty.
I don't want to know about it.
It involves his peacock impression, if anyone's interested.
Surrounded by peahens.
Oh
dear!
I went to Derby and Sheffield. We didn't turn up to Dan in those 2 games either. We are terrible on our travels in recent months. Graham Hopkins passing backwards and sideways a firm of solicitors and disposal, I think. Lee Beckett, if you finish 7th, it's been a good season, but I would like another trip to Wembley. But Moz O'Keefe says Claudio's blown his CWR career.
See, here's a question. Would you rather lose at Wembley, losing the playoff semi-final, or finish 7th? Let's assume going up is not an option. Which one of those 3 would you prefer? Would you prefer to spend 150 quid and have your heart broken at Wembley? Would you prefer to lose at Sheffield United over 2 legs, or would you prefer to miss out on the playoffs? Because all 3 are devastating.
If we're not going up, I'd rather just finish 7th and be done and dusted. If we're not going up, just draw it, Lauren, then. Personally.
There you go. Two different answers already in the comments. Steve Ford says 7th, and Lee Beckett says lose at Wembley. There you go. Everyone's different.
Yeah, I want to finish in the top 6. I want us to get to Wembley, because then, even if you don't go up, there'll be players that are leaving clubs that want to come and play for Coventry City to get us into the Premier League. If you finish outside the playoffs, you're probably not as attractive.
Yeah.
I know it sounds down.
I think 7th and Frank Lampard, because you got the pull of Frank Lampard as well. I think 7th and Frank is enough to get some attraction.
I still think from a financial point of view, losing at Wembley is the best, because if we can then say we have been to Wembley 3 seasons in a row and 5 in 8 years. And we've got Frank Lampard. We've been a kick away from an FA Cup final, a kick away from the Premier League twice, maybe. What more do you want to sell the club to a player? If we're ringing up a player and trying to battle off a West Brom or a Norwich or something, we've got these extra things in our locker to sell a player. And that's exactly what we need. We have to try and go up at all costs. Even if we get battered every game next year, we have to try at all costs. So we have to go and get fifth. We have to get Sunderland out of the way and get to Wembley, and then anything is possible in a one-game shootout. The goalkeeper could come out, clatter Ellis Sims in the first minute, get sent off. They're down to 10 men. They're on the second choice keeper, and then we've got 89 minutes to play against whoever that may be at Wembley. Anything is possible in one game.
It ain't just that though, Jack, is it? It's that it could bring investment in as well.
Well, exactly. It gets us on the telly again. It's all good things.
Yeah, you could bring in a real high profile investor, or it could bring in money from anywhere. And at the end of the day, we know which way the club's going, and we're moving forwards. And as you say, Jack, you rightly say 3 times in 3 years, right? There ain't many clubs that can say they've been to Wembley 3 times in 3 years. Probably what? Man City,
City United. Yeah, that's about it. Chelsea, Liverpool.
In the last 3 years, So we get to Wembley again. Boom, happy days.
Yeah, but see, Jack said we weren't going up. So if we're not going up, I can't be doing with the heartbreak. I'm not sure I can cope with 3 lots of heartbreak. Look, if we're going in with fighting, we've got a chance. I can live with that.
I think I'll cope with it this time better.
We're used to it now. We're used to it. We've got to cope better.
I need counselling and a second job to pay for the trips.
I got my birthday party the next day. So, yeah, Nicholas James, we need to be confident of 2 wins. We need to stop picking out individuals on social media. If a player is pulling on a Coventry City shirt, we get behind them. I'm as angry as anyone about that result on Monday, but with 2 games to go, with the playoffs themselves to navigate, the only hope we have is being together and getting behind Frank and our boys. We all love this special club. We have a magical moments this season, and I know there's more to come. A 5th place finish is going to happen, I think is what you say there. You definitely need to give
Do you know what? I think we finished the show with that one because that's brilliant.
Yeah. Bring a tear to your eyes.
Yep. See you all next week.
Alan Harkins, who's the bloke who does the commentary with Oggy? He's blooming annoying. He's so animated even when nothing is happening.
Clive.
It must be Clive, isn't it? Or does he
Clive.
mean Rob?
No, Rob don't do the commentary, does he? It's Clive.
Oh, right. That's what commentators have to do. When nothing's happening, they've got to keep you interested. So that's I know for a fact, in the old days of radio, when they used to pretend things used to happen, when you got no chance of actually finding out if it did or didn't happen because there was no cameras there. The amount of times you say...
Did anyone listen to the commentary this week? Did Clive say we were wearing white and black?
No, I don't know. I listening to Sky. I got Sky on.
Yeah.
But on the radio, they used to say he's cleared it off the line, and you watch Match of the Day, and it was like 6 yards off the line when they cleared it. It wasn't anywhere near on the line. We need to change the formation.
It was on the 6 yard.
Yeah. Paul Stratton says we need to change the formation as they are another huge side and will come at us. Route 1 will be the Alamo. That didn't end well, the Alamo, didn't they? They all died. I think Clive was looking. I don't know why they always say like the Alamo. It was the worst defence ever because they did all die, and they lost the Alamo. So it's anyway, Peter Stevenson. I think Clive was looking for a slip up from FL. Frank is too much of a pro to be dragged into conversation that would make huge news, not because it's Cov, but because it's Frank Lampard. Yeah, and Frank Lampard, we may not want to hear this, but is a sort of guy who could easily go, I'm not going to do interviews if he annoys him because he's,
Yeah.
It's the way,
talking about when he went off the pitch, Joe Edwards, isn't it? Joe Edwards, he went off first. He went off before anyone. As soon as that whistle went, he was straight down the touchline and straight into the changing rooms. He was well niffed. So it's not only Frank that was fed up with that performance, it was the backroom staff as well.
Liam Ross says, so he can't have an opinion then. I thought that was the point of all this. It's not so much that, Liam, it's some of the vitriol that we've seen on social media. We don't want it on here, basically.
I was on about us saying we don't want to single out players. Yeah, Liam, there's been loads this week, mate. Listen, I mean, it's just been awful. and we just want to try and get everyone together, get everyone behind the team, get us all singing off the same hymn sheet and getting behind them boys for this weekend's game. It's massive. This game's massive.
Lee Dan, positivity is needed from all our fans. We don't need any negative words at this stage. Have belief in the process. The players are watching this platform. I'm confident we can do it. And to be honest, I said everybody was rubbish. So there you go. So, we haven't scored enough goals this season. Apparently we have. And obviously I can't name the culprits. But we have scored plenty of goals this season. We keep letting in too many goals, Mark. That's the issue. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, that's the problem. As a team, we've let in some awful goals this season.
We're like four top scorers and something like 16th worst defenders. That's the problem. It's that end of the pitch.
Mark Cunningham says, quite right, Vicky. Nobody covered themselves in glory. What I would like to see is, instead of all this sideways passing, we need to turn and run at defenders, have a shot at goal, because we never saw any shots on goal from our midfielders. Mick Kelly, Claudio, surely fans can have an opinion on a game they have watched. They can, but like I says again, some of it was out of hand, basically. And something just dropped down behind me. I don't know what was going on there.
It's your light.
It's my light. See, there's a ghost in my house.
Seen a cat jump up and pull something off the wall.
Yeah. Graham Cockerell, did anyone see Arsenal pour past that cost them a goal? Every teams make mistakes. Rich T, Milan had a poor game, but is generally one of our better players and a great character. When Milan has a poor game, he has a poor game, doesn't he? Though it's weird. It's because at the beginning of the season, he was a bit like that, wasn't he? He wasn't on it then, but Anyway. It's happened now, hasn't it? 2 wins, we go up. Joe Burnham, bottom line is you need a keeper in form, and a single mistake makes all the difference. His mistakes impact the games far more, which is why he gets called out. It's not about favourites.
No, we get that, Joe. We definitely get that.
Miles making more references to some of the images that weren't very good on social media. Dan, I'm saying you're making a reference to some of the images that were on social media.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why forums actually put them out there. Dan Sargent is also teammates with Hadji, which is what Jack was saying. Lee Lawton having a high percentage of possession is fine, but let's try route one and all that. You know what? I didn't realise we had 76% possession. 76% possession.
It's mad, weren't it? Mad.
I was really surprised at that.
Yeah,
because there's some games where I think we've had high possession and we've had like 42 or something. So I don't know.
Do one more comment and then we'll get on to the next subject before the Luton fan comes on. Ollie.
Right. P-Lol. We need strikers out before we bring any in. Sims and BTA gone right as a winger now, but should sell if money is right. Can't expect too much from Bassett. So one is needed. And shall I read that one from Lee, Dan?
Yeah, go on.
I'll read this one. It's been starred. I'm fed up with reading negative, fickle so-called COV fans digging out our players. What about the progress the squad has achieved this season? Look at where we are in the league to where we were. Good point.
Exactly.
And Lee, I've got to say, way back in November when we said we were absolutely awful, kept saying we'll get into the top 6. So fair play to you, Lee.
I'm just going to star the next one for the next from when we go back to them, so you know where they are. Okay, so the next subject then, absolutely brilliant from all those comments coming in there. So keep your comments coming in. We'll try and read as many as we can. Don't forget as well, you can vote for your player of the season. Only vote via email, please. There you go. If you can get that up there you are. Vote your player of the season. Sky Blue Fans TV, player of the season. Who gets your vote? You can win next season's home or away shirt. Head over to Sky Blue Fans TV at gmail.com and get your votes in that way. Also, get your spot the ball in. Have a guess, get your guesses in and see what you can do. See if you get your guesses in there, see where the ball is. And you never know, you might win a prize this evening. And the prize is 2 tickets to see Micky Quinn. And if you don't win those, you can buy your tickets. Head over to the Walsgrave Working Men's Club Facebook page or Chris Baker's Facebook page, or even in the description on our YouTube channel. You'll be able to buy your tickets there. £10. There's a quiz and raffle as well. The quiz has been done by Jack, Vicky, and Ken, which is brilliant. And Jack's not coming now. Not happy. And you can get you can win a signed shirt and also a signed book and other prizes as well. And if you don't get a ticket and you just want to come down, then you can pay on the gate. So you can come down to the Working Men's Club on Friday night. Over 130 odd tickets are sold so far, so it's going to be a great crowd. Right then, let's get to the next subject before Ollie joins us to tell us all about Luton. Vicky, who starts and why this Saturday?
I was thinking about this earlier, and a couple of people have said in the comments about going 3-5-2 again. And personally, I don't think Frank will, but for me, that's what I would be doing. I was looking back and I was thinking, we desperately just need to compete in this game. And when we had that run of 3, well, it was 4 away wins in a row, but 3 of those, like Blackburn, Sheffield, Wednesday, and Swansea, none of which were like particularly attractive games, but we won all, was a 3-5-2 formation. And I just think that without Efron and Tor, probably that just gives us some better stability in the midfield. Just because we need to be able to fight, we need to win the midfield battle. So I'd be tempted to. 3 at the. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because if Thomas isn't fit, 3 at the back's difficult. But obviously, if he's not, you'd have to go Latibredio, Kitchen, and Binks. I mean, personally, I'd rather that Thomas was one of those 3. But then Sims and either Wright or Asante up front. I mean, I'd be if Asante's fit now, and obviously he's been on the bench and coming on a bit. I'd play him away from home. I just think, like Wayne said earlier, Wright doesn't turn up enough away from home, and so I'd be going Sims and Asante. They showed that they could do that job in those 3 away games earlier in the season, and then Grimes, Sheaf, Rodoni, Sakamoto, and either Allen or Eccles, I suppose, because he's obviously on the bench. I don't know how near to fitness he is. So that's how I would do it. But I don't think we will do that. So I'll be gobsmacked if that's the team on Saturday. But if I was Frank, that's what I would be doing.
I mean, what about you, Jack? How would you see this one? I mean, how would you change it if you were? Let's just say you're Frank Lampard now. You've seen that performance on Friday last week was brilliant. Then you go to Plymouth, you see that performance. Where would you change it and why?
I'd put Jordan Shipley on the left wing and Mark McNulty up top. Last time we won there was that game. Ship was banging that free kick. So why not? Obviously, I'm joking. I'd like to see, rather than try and combat Route 1 with Route 1, I'd like to try and see us play through Luton, play football. If we'd have managed to play quick football through Plymouth, we'd have got through them. And I think Luton will try and do a very similar job to how Plymouth did on Monday. I would like to see De Silva start at left back. I would like to see Patterson probably start on the left. And if we can't manage him to get through 90, you'd put Rodoni on the left and maybe Sheaf back in the midfield. I'd have Sheaf in for Allen, I think, anyway. I'd probably have to leave Hadji up top just because he's the quickest. But we need Patterson to look really good the last few times he's come on. De Silva's looked the far better left back. He's looked head and shoulders above where he's been the whole season.
Yeah.
He needs to start. And yeah, we need to play football through Luton. I know we overturned a 2-0 deficit against them at home earlier this season. It's the first time in 11 or 12 games we beat them. The last time was at Kenilworth Road, that 3-0 I just joked about. We've got to go there and do it again. We've got to take the game to them. We've got to have the possession, but we've got to pass forward and quickly. And the best way to do that is by playing people like De Silva and Patterson, as opposed to try and hoof it upfield to Hadji and Sims. That's my opinion. And that's the way we should go. I don't think they'd be equipped to play against us if we out football them, so to speak.
You don't. If we played De Silva though, you don't think that it's going to cause an issue? They're just going to aim for him all the time, like Hull did last week.
They do the same with Bidwell because Bidwell's got no pace. I know he's a foot taller, but if you ping the ball over Bidwell's head, De Silva's going to catch you. Bidwell's not. So it doesn't matter who we put at left back. It could be me at left back. The ball's going over your head. It's going over your head. Yeah. So I'd rather see De Silva chasing back with a bit more pace than Bidwell. And I think the form recently, especially, and De Silva's attacking output gives him the advantage over Bidwell. And that's what we need, I think.
Okay, brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it from both of you there, Vicky and Jack. Come to you, Claudio, before Ollie's waiting in the background patiently. So we'll get your views. I know it won't be quick because it's you, but we'll try.
It's simple. So we go 4-3-3. I can't see anything but a defeat. I just can't. We can't have three in midfield against Luton. We need to pack it out a bit and maybe bore our way to a result. Basically, keep it compact. I think we probably do need to go three at the back, maybe five across the middle. Even a 4-4-2 with the box midfield, force them out wide. Basically, keep them away from our goal as much as possible. Stop the crosses would help as well. But they got some big guys. It's tricky, isn't it? And this is our squad now, Miles. We got 2 games left, and we are 6th in the table, and that's not too bad, is it? So it's whether or not they've got the determination and the guts to get what's needed to get into the playoffs. And come the end of the game against Middlesbrough, we'll find out, won't we, where we are? And that's it, really. In terms of personnel, it ain't going to make much difference, I don't think, with all the players we've got, because there's not a lot of change in the bench compared to what's on the starting 11. De Silva's got his strengths, he's got his weaknesses, same as Bidders, same as all the players, basically. So, we need Radoni to turn up. We need Grimes to turn up. If Sheaf plays, he has to turn up. We need Sakamoto to be on it away from home. Hadji, Wright and Sims, if they start, they've got to be competing up there. They've got to keep their defenders busy. It's as simple as that. And as a unit, perform. And a goalkeeper who just keeps his head together for 90 minutes. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Luton, we know what they're like at Kenilworth Road. Normally they're solid at home. And they have improved massively in the last 8 games. So it's a dangerous, dangerous fixture on Saturday. But we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. Right, then we're going to bring Ollie in. Now, Claudio, if you can take over, I need to just go and have a little break because I'm struggling a little bit.
Oh, right, okay.
I did just message you, but you obviously didn't see it. But yeah, if you can jump in the hot seat for a minute, I just need to go and just go grab a break for a minute because I'm struggling. So we'll bring Ollie in. Here you go.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Ollie, thanks for joining us. First of all, tell us about the show that you do.
So I have a Luton Town and Championship podcast. It's on YouTube. It's also wherever you get your podcasts. It's called The OK Football Show. Believe it or not, it's not named after me. I'm Ollie K, but it's not named after me. We do Luton Town. We do Championship content. I was told I was actually specifically requested by Coventry fans to come on here. I've been very complimentary about Coventry. Not so complimentary about Frank Lampard. I still think he's a bit of a charlatan. He's just benefiting from the 4th best squad in the Championship. And that goes without saying. It's a fantastic squad that Coventry have. It really is. It's a shame what happened with Mark Robbins, but I think it's fairly obvious that AD Vivash was obviously more important than people would have thought. Sort of like Brian Clough and Peter Taylor, if you cast your mind back to those Nottingham Forest days, those Derby days. And it's crazy to think that AD Vivash had such a strong role because as soon as he left, your season started off really poorly, considering how everyone was backing Cov to do so well, including our podcast. We had Cov finishing, I think, top 4 in our show. But Lampard's come in, and he's one that he only benefits when everything's there for him. And that is very much the case with Coventry. With Derby, he benefited from all his mates in the Premier League giving him players, and at the same time, he fell short. And he got it so wrong in that playoff semi-final, didn't he? Benching Jack Marriott. Remember, he had Harry Wilson. He had Fikayo Tomori. He had Tammy Abrahams, I think. He had Mason Mount. He had Mason Mount. He had a ridiculous squad. That's what he does. He's good when he has a ridiculous squad. And that's what he's got at Coventry. I think you're going to struggle on Saturday. I think you're going to have one eye on the game against Middlesbrough, because that is the big one, isn't it?
It is. Actually, Ollie, it's interesting. I was looking at Ken and mine and Miles' predictions at the start of the season. And this was our top 6. I went for Burnley Leeds to get promoted. Ken went for Cov and Leeds, and Miles went for Cov Burnley. But we all had Luton in the top 4 because we thought...
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, we did. I'd got Cov, Luton, Middlesbrough, Sunderland, Miles, Luton, Leeds, Sheffield United, West Brom, and Ken had Burnley, Norwich, Middlesbrough, Luton. Not bad effort, actually. So, come on then. What has gone wrong? Because you are the shock, I think, of the Championship this season, because no one expected you to be struggling like this.
No, even I didn't expect us to be struggling like this. The writing was on the wall from pre-season, because they released a documentary about our time in Slovenia. I don't know why we go to Slovenia. It's obviously not set up for elite football training. And we end up playing absolute shocking teams in pre-season. They did a documentary about the time in Slovenia, as I was saying, and you could tell just from the passages of play, they was fairly one-dimensional what we were doing. It's get the ball out to the wings. Is it at Doughty's feet? No. Well, get the ball to Doughty's feet. Let Doughty cross it in. Has Doughty got the ball? No. Okay, get the ball to Doughty. It's pretty much one-dimensional play. Regarding where everyone thought Luton Town would finish this year, there was a lot of ego, I think, specifically from our chief exec, Gary Sweet. He thought, admittedly, that we'd be going straight back up, and a lot of Luton Town fans thought the same. I didn't think so. I actually had us 5th, and even then that was like wildly optimistic. The podcast Once Upon a Time was affiliated with another group, and we were censored to some degree, and I put us 5th purely because I feared the fan backlash if I placed us out of the playoffs. I thought we would struggle. I don't think we'd struggle this badly. A big part of it is I never really rated Rob Edwards. I always maintained that he took a Nathan Jones team, came in, and acted, well, I'm trying to think of a better word for it. He acted like a cheerleader, essentially. He just galvanized a group that already had leaders in it.
He's got the looks of a cheerleader.
He does. Look, I know one thing I've said for a long time, essentially since our first game against Burnley this season, I said we are bang in trouble. And I was proved right. I just didn't think it was going to be this bad. The board, because they liked him, because he's a very personable guy, he's a very nice person, very, very handsome and dreamy. They waited way too long to sack him, because they thought, well, he's so good looking. He's obviously going to turn this around, isn't he?
But in the Premier League, it looked like you were making a real good fist of it and a good fight of it, but you weren't obviously getting the results. But you had like Ross Barkley, and obviously losing him, was that a main factor as well? Losing and Townsend and these players who obviously didn't fancy the Championship.
Well, Townsend never really made that much of an impact. Ross Barkley was possibly the greatest Luton player I've seen. And my dad, who's been going for about 60 years, he said he was the best player he's seen, hands down. In fact, we had Chairman David Wilkinson on our pod, and he said Ross Barkley is the best player he's ever seen in a Luton shirt, and he's seen Ricky Hill play. So Ross Barkley left a huge gap, and he was very important in those performances, those swashbuckling performances. But at the same time, the players were playing above themselves. And this season, the players have to have fingers pointed at them as well, because Rob Edwards, essentially, we drive, when we do our podcast, we do it live from a pub in Luton. I drive past the training ground every Sunday morning. For the entire time that Rob Edwards was manager at Luton Town this season, every Sunday morning, it was a ghost town. There was nothing going on. As soon as Matt Bloomfield comes in, the players are in. At 9:15 in the morning, there's activity. He's essentially said to all the players, show me that you're good enough. Because a lot of these players, they essentially thought, well, I've done it in the Premier League. I'm hot stuff right now. And there was a lot of sulking, a lot of players that felt they should have stayed in the Premier League. And that's not the case. Essentially, you're only good as your performance that you put out on a Saturday or Sunday lunchtime or Wednesday evening, whenever Sky decided to put games on these days. There was a lot of hubris across the board, manager, players, chief exec. Board.
So Matt Bloomfield came in and wasn't an immediate effect, was there? It took a bit of time, but things have definitely improved, haven't they, in the last, 10 games or so?
They have. And Matt Bloomfield has shown wherever he's gone, he's shown he's a slow starter.
Did you think he came in too late then? You could have done with him earlier.
He came in, he came in 2 months or 3 months, but my opinion, he came in 3 months too late. Rob Edwards should have gone after the Sheffield United loss, because that showed that he completely lost the direction. And when he eventually left, Gary Sweet actually said Rob Edwards has been distracted for the better part of a year. I think the exact words were Rob has taken his eye off the ball for many months, possibly up to a year. Those were his exact words. And he had another 2 months after that, and then we got absolutely thumped 5-1 against Middlesbrough, one of the worst performances I've ever seen. And he was waving to the crowd. And sources from inside the club have said he was waving to his family, which is complete, pardon my French, bullshit, because ultimately he was waving like to everyone at the crowd, unless his family were dotted around absolutely everywhere. There was no way he was waving to his family in the crowd. And they kept him a little bit longer. And every single time it was nick a result. Okay, that buys him some time. Get another jammy result, some time. And the only time we registered back-to-back wins under him was Millwall away, which was actually a very decent but lucky away result. It was a very good, lucky save from Thomas Kaminski at the end of the game when one of their players was through one-on-one that guaranteed the win for us. It was a tight 1-0. And then we got a very undeserved win against Sheffield Wednesday. That was the only back-to-back one we had. And that was 2 late goals, including a sending off and a penalty that was very, marginal. It was a marginal call. And that kept him in the job a little bit longer. They'd pick up a jammy win that would keep him in just a little bit longer. But there were always those performances. And though that back-to-back win, what happened after that? We played Coventry. We went 2-0 up. Undeserved. Yeah. I will say that. It was an undeserved. And then the second half, anyone could have told you. A team goes in 2-0 down at half-time. What are they going to do in the second half? They're going to attack you. And he didn't change anything. And his entire time at Luton Town, I'll never forget the promotion. It was like one of the, other than the birth of my kids, it's one of the only times I've cried in my adult life. It was tremendous. Tremendous day. He gave me a great day. But ultimately, we have bottled more victories than I care to remember during Rob Edwards' time at Luton Town. Cast your mind back to last season. We were 3-0 up against Bournemouth. And we lost 4-3. Anyone could have told you, Bournemouth are going to come out and attack. But he was tactically so clueless. But what a handsome man he was.
Yeah, but do you think that's his fault, or that he didn't have enough backing, the backroom staff as well? Because he'd been very experienced at that sort of level, isn't he? Really, so it's a bit harsh.
Rob Edwards.
Yeah.
Rob Edwards had no experience. Before he joined Luton Town, he had 7 games at Watford.
Yeah.
He got canned really early on, and he had 1 season at Forest Green. He was not experienced in the slightest.
So do you think the club? Do you think the owners or whoever's in charge, your CEO, should have done something to get him a backroom staff or a bit of experience behind him?
There's plenty of experience. Mick Harford is always around. David Pleat's been around.
Can I just say about David Pleat? David Pleat was sat in my seat on Saturday at the game. He's obviously spying for you. Is he working for Luton now, is he?
No, he's working for Celtic.
Oh, is he? Oh, he was there with
the head of scout. And I said, he's a scout for Celtic now.
Oh, that's interesting. And I said, Mr. Pleat, you're in my seat. And he says, I can't manage the stairs, so I don't care. That's poetry.
Be nice to him. The man's 80 years old.
Well, it's like, the irony was we unveiled the Curtis and Sillett statue the day before. And, of course, he was the manager of Spurs when we beat them. So I thought it was quite poetic, the whole thing was. So looking forward to Saturday's match, what's the feeling of the Luton fans then? Are they expecting a win?
Well, there's a lot more optimism. I wouldn't say anyone's ever expecting a win. We're expecting to be in a game. We don't really know what Coventry is going to turn up because we got turned over by
Luton Away.
Yeah, but Plymouth took 4 points off us this season. So Plymouth can turn it on when they want to. And Plymouth have taken 4 points off Sunderland, so they turn it on when they want to. Cov, as you say, you don't know who's going to turn up. You don't know how it's going to go. I feel the bottle is commencing because there's obviously a lot of pressure to get into the playoffs. I feel if we had played Coventry maybe 10 games ago when you were on that insane run of form that I think pretty much started at Luton Town, at the CBS when you beat Luton Town, came from behind, and after that you never really looked back, did you? But the form has kind of tapered off, which is worrying for your momentum going into the playoffs now, in my opinion. In terms of the game, we gave Bristol City a very good game. We were actually very clinical. We restricted them to very little. But I feel Coventry have a lot more danger up top than an aging Nahki Wells. Ellis Sims is a player that simply terrifies me. He also has a terrific beard. Haji Wright, although he lives offside, he is a brilliant player at this level. Sakamoto, technically, he is a wonderful player. And Ephraim Mason-Clark, who is injured. I'm delighted he's injured because one thing that absolutely ruins us is pace, and he's got that in spades. So
it's interesting, because obviously our fan base have had a real good moan about Haji Wright and Ellis Sims and Sakamoto on Saturday, and we do get it a lot when opposition fans come on and say we're terrified of Ellis Sims. Haji Wright's one of the best players in the division. It's funny how our own fans can't see it. It's weird, isn't it? I just find that weird.
To quote Joe Kinnear, all fans are donuts. Yeah.
And if we were the size of Joe Kinnear, he'd probably eat them, wouldn't he?
Well, big fat Joe, what a manager he was.
Well, yes. So for us then, who do we need to look out for? Who do you think could, I mean, you got the guy up front who did really well last season in the Premier League, didn't he? I mean,
is that Carlton Morris?
Yeah. What's happening?
Well, four goals. He scored 11 goals. 4 of them were penalties. He was a physically imposing player in the Premier League last season. I feel he's carrying an injury or he's lost his legs. Although his performance,
Ollie,
sorry,
how many of that squad have you kept from last season? Then do you think there's been an effect, so like a shadow over what happened last season?
Absolutely. Yeah. We've kept too many players. We lost Ross Barkley, who was a very key player. Sambi Lokonga was a lone player. Isaac Kabore, he was a lone player. Otherwise, we've kept absolutely everyone else other than Chiewog Bene. Chirag Bene, he went to Ipswich for 8 million just before deadline day. We didn't replace him. Unfortunately for Chio, his season was over pretty quickly because he ruptured his Achilles in like his third or fourth game at Ipswich. We didn't replace him until the January window when we brought in Isaiah Jones, who is absolutely rapid. We really lacked pace. For the first half of the season, we had absolutely zero pace, and Colton Morris wasn't cutting it either because, as I said, his legs had gone. Elijah Adebayo, he's out for a long time with an ACL. He was only just starting to find form, but if you have a look at the big chances missed table, you'll see Elijah is literally streets ahead. He's in another league for big chances missed.
What about Asgard from Wigan? How's he? Because he looks quite...
He's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's so good, providing we can get him into the game, and that is something that over the last couple of games we've been doing a lot more. He ran the show against Bristol City. Tremendous. Whatever we paid for him, we've absolutely mugged Wigan off, and he'll be playing in the Premier League either next season or the season after. What a player. Good.
Do you think you got 2 performances in you, 2 games in a row? That's the key now, isn't it? Because you need 3, really, don't you?
Yeah. I think considering we are the form team out of the 2 going into this, I feel we have got a performance in us. We've had a week rest. It's none of this 3-game week nonsense because 3-game weeks, we haven't won the 3rd game in a 3-game week at all this season. I think that there's a real fitness issue, a hangover from Rob Edwards. I don't think he worked the team hard enough. I think it was a case of he was just tucking the players in at night, giving them a gentle kiss on the forehead and saying, yeah, you don't need to do your fitness tomorrow. But now we're looking more organised, and that's a big part of it, because when you don't have the fitness, you just got to have the organisation. And that is something that Bloomfield has brought in. I really like him, and I'm excited to see what he can do next season, regardless of the division. But going back to your point about did we keep too many players? Is there a shadow? Yes, undoubtedly, yes, there is a shadow. And I think regardless of what division we're in, about 15 players have to leave because the recruitment's been an absolute joke. We signed a guy, Daiki Hashioka. Like, you have Sakamoto, Stoke have Bae-Jun Ho. There are many, many Asian players dotted throughout the top 2 tiers that are absolutely fantastically, wonderfully technical footballers. And we've got a Japanese international right back who's absolutely terrible. He can defend, but he can't cross a ball. And that's the reason why Matt Bloomfield abandoned his plan of playing 4-2-3-1 pretty much after 3 games, because he tried Daiki Hashioka. Nope, didn't work. He tried Ruel Walters. Nope, didn't work. Both players who were brought in by a recruitment team. Recruitment has been absolutely terrible. Asgard is the natural replacement for Ross Barkley, and we signed him in January. We should have gone out and got him at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Now, I want to see if Miles wants to come in. I see him in the background. Is he having a break? Is he going to come in?
Still having his Kit Kat.
Yeah, something like that. Have they done spot the ball with you, Ollie?
No.
Here we go. Then let's give you a chance of winning a prize.
Ooh.
Have a guess where the ball is.
I'm gonna go a number 3, please.
If it was having a shot, it'd be the corner flag.
Hey, we're not doing that tonight.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I mean, it was great insight there. I'm absolutely loving it. Should we get some scores off everybody?
I'll go first. 2-1 Luton.
Yeah.
2-1 Luton. Okay. Vicky.
I'm just hoping we can get a draw, to be honest. I want to be optimistic. You know, I like to be optimistic, but I'm just worried. So I'm going to say 2-2.
2-2. Oh, blimey. Okay.
Desmond.
Yeah. Jack.
I'm going to take the theme of tonight's show and be positive and say we're going to win 2-0.
2-0.
Well done, Jack.
Okay.
Can I just add to that as well? The last 2 times we've made the playoffs, 2 years ago and in League Two, in the second to last game we won, and then the last game we drew. That would be plenty to get us over the line. I'm hoping for the same again. We win against Luton. All we need to do is keep Middlesbrough out, and we're quite good at doing that. So, yeah, we'll win tomorrow, Saturday even.
Okay. Claudio?
I cannot see us keeping a clean sheet with our defence, regardless of who plays. And unfortunately, I'm going to go for a 2-0 reverse.
2-0
I just cannot see us getting anything on Saturday.
Okay. I'm going to go 1-1.
I'm going for reverse psychology, so that's what I'm doing.
So I'm the only one that thinks we'll win. Come on, guys.
I'm going 1-1.
Although, to be fair, when Claudio said 4-0 at Derby, we lost. It's probably better he said we're going to lose.
Ollie, where are you with the ground exactly? What's happening there?
So there's some good movement on that. We should be in there for the 2028-29 season.
Fantastic. And also, the ownership of the club. Can you briefly explain how it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So a very brief history of Luton Town. I actually have a video about the ground up on our YouTube channel when planning permission was granted. Check it out. It's quite a fun one. I actually give a pretty much historical overview of every single attempted Luton Town relocation dating back to 1959. Fascinating stuff. So Luton have had some dodgy ownerships over the years. I've seen 3 administrations in my time, all coming within a 10-year period. The most recent one was in 2006, 2007, and there were a whole mishmash of stuff going wrong. So essentially, Gary Sweet, our current chief executive, as part of Trust in Luton, which is now the Luton Town Supporters Trust, he put together a consortium separate from the trust to buy the club from administration. And they did that. And unfortunately, we were hit with a 30-point deduction, their first season in charge, which pretty much confined us to relegation in their first full season. From League Two, mainly because we didn't come out of administration in the fit and proper manner. But it's ultimately fans. There are 7 or 8 of them on the boards. They have about 200-300 years of supporting Luton between them. And most of the shares are held by Paul Ballantyne, who's a guy I don't know very much about, but he's obviously a very wealthy man. And then the rest are held by Hatters Holdings Trust, and a bit is held by Luton Town Supporters Trust, but it's fundamentally fans.
Oh, that's good to hear, actually. It's sort of almost like a German model, isn't it, I suppose?
It kind of is. I don't know too much about the 51% model, but it's not quite like that. It's just a consortium of businessmen who happen to be Luton Town fans. And they own the club, so they do everything with the best interests of the club at mind. Instead, they'll never leverage our future. They'll never go into debt. If there's any debt on the balance sheet at the end of the season, it's like £1 or £2 million. We operate a very rigid salary cap to make sure that we never go into the red.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. If you've got the confidence of the supporters, you're halfway there, aren't you? I think.
Not with the recruitment recently.
Well, no, but we are. I think the guys will agree here. We're sort of a bit split, I think, with our ownership even now.
Really?
Yeah, throughout the club.
Really?
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of people who still don't. I'm still not sure. Some people love it. Some people don't. It's really weird.
It's better than Zizou.
Well, yeah.
So you've got an actual Coventry fan at the helm.
Yeah, it's
mad.
I don't know if he's not a Coventry fan, but he's he's
from Coventry.
No, he's not. He's from Norwich area.
Oh,
he's got a business in Stratford upon Avon, which makes rapeseed oil and distributes it around all the supermarkets around the country and around the world. Basically, it's got one of the biggest rapeseed factories in Europe. based literally down the road. So he's that's where he gets his money from, and other money comes in from other things as well that he does. So, I mean, look, he was the villain when he got rid of Mark Robbins. The way he did it, it wasn't great. But he's took the gamble with Frank, and at the moment, Frank's delivering what he said he was going to do. Well, what Doug King said he was going to deliver, and his backroom staff for Frank, I think, is just unbelievable. The way we have changed since Mark Robbins left, I think is well, we never thought we'd be in 6th place and fighting for this playoff again within 3 years of playing you guys and being knocked out by you guys. And no one ever expected us to be going into this game this weekend playing you, where you're fighting to stay up. Who would ever thought that you'd be fighting to stay up after coming down from the Premier League with a parachute payment to us being at the other end of the table? You'd never have thought it. I mean, a lot of people predicted Luton to be in the top 2 this season, so it was one of those that were going to go straight back up. Just before you go, I don't know if Claudia asked this question, but is there any injury worries that Luton have got going into this game this weekend?
We've got a relative clean bill of health, which is very rare for us because we've been perennially dogged with injury. We have defenders coming out of our ears now, and for a while we were persisting with a 3 at the back when we only had 1 fit centre back. Now we got pretty much everyone except Tom Lockyer fit. Up front, that's where the problem is. Jacob Brown's out for the season. Elijah Adebayo is out for the season. Well, for a long time, possibly a large extent of next season as well. So it's pretty much just Colton Morris up top, really. And we'll be experimenting, but the experiment's been paying off the past couple of weeks, really. But no, just it's the standard ones. Tom Lockyer, long-term absentee. His contract's up at the end of the season as well. So we'll see what happens.
How is he? How is Tom generally? Because obviously he had that collapse, didn't he? How is he?
Right. Yeah, he had to be honest. Providing he's the club captain and we're paying his salary, I'd like to see him on the bench every game. Not ready to play, and he was actually expected to come back. He'd been training, then he did his ankle in, had to have an operation. The operation didn't go well, so he had to have it reoperated on. It's all silly, to be honest. I think he's working on his handicap a lot. He likes a bit of golf, but he should really be there being a leader for the team, and he's not. So he's not in my good books, but he's alive, and he's still there with his family, and that's what's so important.
I'm a bit pleased that you've just said Adebayo's injured, because he always tends to score against us or get penalties given when he's outside the box.
Look at the big chances missed this season. He's literally in a league by himself.
Yeah, but it's different when he plays against us. And as I say, he gets penalties from anywhere, wherever he dives on the pitch. The referee gives a penalty, so I'm happy with it.
I think. Well, thinking back to it, I think it was Cole McFadzean that was doing the diving last time, wasn't it? Because, Elijah Adebayo sent him for a hot dog. I think he's still on the floor.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. But I'm on about the penalty. It was about 2 foot outside the box.
Yeah. Look, if you get into the Premier League, then you get VAR. Until then, you can't complain.
Miles, we can't complain about penalties. Matt Fadzi.
Why? Oh, no, he didn't. He didn't touch it. He never touched it.
Yes, that's the one.
It was a great save.
No, he never touched it. He told us he never touched it.
It was a great save. Yeah, of course not.
Listen,
and then it made up for the sending off where he shouldn't have got sent off when it didn't hit his hand.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those, isn't it?
Listen, Ollie, we're going to let you go because we've got to crack on with the show. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a good rest of the season. Well, 2 games to go. You have a good rest of the season after this one. And I hope you stay up as well, Bob.
Depending on what league we're in, who knows? I guess we'll find out.
You never know. Listen, thank you so much for taking the time, mate. And hopefully,
Thanks for having me on.
you never know. We might speak to you next season, but you never know. Either way. Take care. Ta-ra.
Cheers, Ollie. Cheers.
Cheers, Ollie. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, sorry I had to nip off there, guys. Yeah, struggled a bit. Right. We've got loads of comments coming in, but let's just quickly whip through the next two subjects and then we get onto the comments and then we get Jack's stats about the fun stats about the kits. Right, quick fire question then. Vicky, are we strong enough to fight this weekend under this pressure?
Yes.
Yes. Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Claudio?
No.
No. Ooh. I'm going to ask why no, because I like the positivity, but tell us why no.
I just worry after what happened at Plymouth. And I know we're expecting a reaction. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. And the fact we're playing Luton, if we weren't playing Luton, I wouldn't be so worried. But the fact they are desperate, like I said earlier, they are desperate to stay in this division. We'd love to get out of this division, but it's not the be-all and end-all of everything, is it? And I think them at home is the problem. If it was at our place, different story. But I think it's going to be really, really tough. I'm not sure we got it in us this time round.
Okay. And on to the next one then, Vicky. If we don't get anything from this game and results don't go our way, so let's say Middlesbrough get a result, Bristol get a result, Millwall get a result, is it over? Are we going to fail the playoffs?
No, because I think ultimately it will come down to the last game of the season anyway. I think so. No, I don't think it really matters. Well, it obviously does matter, but I don't think it's going to determine it on Saturday either way.
Yeah. Jack, what about you?
If someone could guarantee you the other day, like let's say last week, they say you're going to lose at Plymouth, you're going to lose at Luton, but you're going to beat Middlesbrough, which will guarantee you a playoff spot, we'd all have snatched your hand off. From where we've come this season, a playoff spot is not a lot short of a miracle. All those away wins that, like Claudia and Vicky were mentioning earlier, and it's come down to this. Yes, it's been in our hands for a few weeks, but from where we've come, it's massive. If we could guarantee a spot by beating Middlesbrough, then I'm happy. But obviously, it's never guaranteed, is it? That's the thing. That's why we always want to win. But yeah, if someone could guarantee me we'll beat Middlesbrough, doesn't matter what happens on Saturday. We all want a good day out, but it's just the nerves that will implement us for a whole week is not nice.
Yeah, I think for me, I think Claudio, it's waiting. We've got to wait 7 more days. If this doesn't go our way on Saturday, we've got to wait 7 more days. Do you think the playoffs is over if those 3 teams get the results and we don't?
No, I actually think, like a lot of Middlesbrough fans weren't hoping for, was to play us in the last game of the season. I would take anybody at home apart from the top 3 at home. If you got that game to win to get into the playoffs, I'd take it. I don't care who it's against. And we've proven already quite a few times this season, in front of a big crowd, we do win matches. Regardless, me and Jim Brown did the podcast, it dispels the myth. We've had a lot of close to record tendencies this season. We've won most of them, and in previous seasons as well. So we can do it. That's the fans who do that as well when we get behind the team. Middlesbrough at home, one-off game. You know, it's like it's a final, isn't it? And you're playing at home. Surely we can win that. So I'm quite happy with that. Not confident for Saturday, but if we nick a point Saturday, fantastic. You know, and you know if we nick a point and Middlesbrough don't lose at home to Norwich, who just sacked the manager, you know, might be up for a bit of a game. We've done it anyway. So, you know, yeah, no, I think we can do it on the last game of the season.
The funny thing for me is that at the beginning of the season, we had our predictions, but then we were saying, oh, look who we've got last game of the season. And, you know, it could go back, it could go down to the wire that we have to get something from Borough. And the year we did it, we had to go down to the wire and get something from Borough. It just seems a bit crazy, doesn't it, that it's ended up this way round again. It's just weird, absolutely weird. And once again, a sellout crowd. Let's get a few more comments in then, and then we get on to Jack's little spreadsheet regarding shirt.
I will apologise because of the interview and everything. We are way behind, so I'll only do a few because that's we're going to be here till the match. Yeah, Mikey Boy says, personally, I think it's acceptable to call out players' bad performances. They're professionals in the public spotlight. However, I agree that some people take it too far and keep it constructive. Norwich don't need to sell, says Dan. They have a new wealthy owner now. Delia sold her stake. Onyx Frat, the one thing that has bothered me this season, especially in the last few games, is no one is willing to take a shot from the edge of the box. Assassins Unite. I doubt there's a City fan out there who rates Collins as a top keeper, but he's third choice for a reason. He's playing for us, so cheer him on to the rafters. Anthony Petov says, Vicky wants Sims, but with batteries included next season. Dear. I'm not sure we're going to do that, Vicky. I'll leave that there. Peter Stevenson, we need speed. We are so slow going forward. That is a good point. There's one part of Saturday where Sakamoto went to break and then stopped and rolled the ball back 20 yards for some reason. It was weird. And we're trying to chase the game. Dan, our scouts will be watching strikers in Europe, probably someone we haven't heard of. So I wonder who David Pleat was watching if he's scouting for Celtic. Interesting.
Yeah.
John Swift.
Sorry?
John Swift on a free from the Baggies, maybe.
Yeah. Paul Stratton, unfortunately, our centre forwards are very robotic. We are lacking flair at times. What about Sants and Conway? Good shouts, actually, Lee Beckett. We have interest in young Charlton midfielder Terry Taylor. Andrew Gray, left back needs strengthening. I'd be having a look at Josh Timon from Swansea, a bit like Rodoni for Huddersfield last season. He stood out in the poor side when he played them at their place. He's been such a great signing as Jack Rodoni. Doug Bolam, Claudio, most of your dreams involve Ken.
It was after their date night to Hull. That's what it is.
There's not enough room in my dream for Ken. On Easter Monday, what? On Easter Monday, we should have played Chocolate Latte Baudière, Ernie Egg Hunt, Milan van Egwick, Charlton Palmer Sunday, Crucifix, Sean Flynn, David Cross, and Neil Martin. Oh dear. Nicholas James, I agree we have to finish fifth. We'll beat Sunderland over 2 legs, and we would beat Sheffield United in a one-off game at Wembley. I really feel like this is happening. I'll just buzz through a quick ones because Jack's done a bit of work, so he deserves to get it up. Rounds of possibility. A lot of people thought we would win the league at the start of the season. Miles did, and Ken.
Yes, I did.
There. Yeah, well, in fairness, when we did those predictions, we had a month to go, and we thought we were going to sign another 3 or 4 players, didn't we? We didn't realise we weren't going to sign anybody.
Nope.
And if Grimes had come in August, it could have been a different picture altogether. Rich T, good points, changed my mind. Lose at Wembley, but win at Wembley. Wow, could you imagine that? Brentford happened. Was Brentford 2 or 3 times where they had to do it? Am I right in hearing that Sheffield United have never been promoted through a playoff? 9 attempts. They've only ever done it via 1 or 2. They've either been promoted, normal promotion, but via the playoffs, they've never gone up.
Yeah, never gone up.
Oh, well, that'll be another time then, wouldn't they, if they play us? It's on the card, says Pagangon. Beat Sheffield in the final. Nicholas James, we haven't got this far to throw it away. An interesting way to look at our Wembley record. We actually have never lost there in open play. We've only won and drawn. I'm liking this. Chris Brook, even though, despite the defeat, still really annoyed the day out at still really enjoyed the day out at Plymouth. Took Brooksy Senior for his first away game. Just turned 81. Roll on Luton. Should we let Jack in now with the stats because there's so many comments.
Just before that, we can't get through everyone's, but just before that, Mark Titmus has just messaged me and messaged us about his daughter winning the World Championships for the Dynamite. Now talking about them, that's Martin's granddaughter is in that not the same team, but she's in the Dynamite, but she's in a lower level. And they went to America last year, but her name is Holly Titmus. So congratulations to Holly and the team. Well done. And she's been interviewed by Clive tonight. There she is. Look, there she is. There you go.
Hello.
Right, come on in, Jack.
Right, apologies to everyone that's put comments in, because obviously we're not going to get through them tonight. But I've got a few different things tonight. It's mostly based on away form and kit statistics. So I don't know if anyone knows. I put different kits up behind me every show we do, and I try and put it on theme. So tonight I've gone for the purple kit that we never won away in, this green and black one from last season that we didn't perform too well in, and the black one from this season, just because I don't have the white one. Now, the white one, obviously, like when Miles said earlier, when he saw we were playing in white, he was unhappy. Me too. I just got in the car. I just left the house and read we were on a white kit and thought, nah, this isn't going to go too well. So I'll start over here on the right-hand side. We've worn the white kit 6 times this season, drawn 3, lost 3. We've only scored 5 goals and we've conceded 12. Don't need to say any more about those stats. It's crap. Simple as. We tend to do better in third kits of late. So the third kit this season, 9 games, 4 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw. So kind of in the balance. Scored 11, conceded 10. So it's a net positive goal difference. And 3 clean sheets, which isn't bad in 9 games away from home. If you could keep 1 in 3 clean sheets away from home, that's 8 across the season. That's pretty good. So actually, our stats in the third kit, I think, are decent, to be honest. If you could keep that form for a whole season, you'd be happy with that. And just the home kits included there, because that's obviously home games plus away games where we've wore blue. So those are just some fun kit stats about this season. After the Luton game, Frank Lampard will have managed double the games Mark Robbins had for us this season. So that would be obviously 14 away games as opposed to Mark's 7. So I just wanted to compare the stats of the 2 managers away from home. Robbins managed 1 win in 7. Frank's managed 5 in 13. Could be 6 on Saturday. Double the games, double the losses away from home, but that's kind of to be expected. We would expect to lose a certain amount of games away from home, as every team does. And so Frank's done no worse than Mark in that aspect. 2 draws compared to 3, again, isn't too bad away from home. Draws tend to be good. But that win percentage being almost triple, goals scored more than double, goals against, it is more than double, unfortunately. So our defence has been a bit leakier. But 3 clean sheets and triple the amount of points, basically, is positives to take from Lampard away from home this season compared to how we started the season. Moving on to my next bit, I have got some statistics on home and away games. Narrow that a bit. There we go. How does that look? That's got everything in. Perfect. So just home and away statistics by season. This is the last 5 seasons. So it's the last 5 seasons that we've been in the Championship. I'm going to start with the away form because that's what we're kind of looking at. The away form this year hasn't been too bad. The best away form we have had was 2 years ago when we made the playoffs. No shock, I'm sure. So the green colours show the best numbers. The red colours show the worst numbers that we've performed. So it's no shock that away from home, the season we first came into the Championship through COVID, we were pretty poor. Whereas the season we made the playoffs, we were pretty good. The numbers in brackets here are including the away game at Middlesbrough in that playoff semi-final, hence why it would be 24 games and 8 wins, 9 draws. So this season has not been bad. If we beat Luton tomorrow, we get to 7 wins, which would match 2 years ago when we made the playoffs. Draws 3 less, losses 3 more. So we can't perform as well away from home this season as, in fact, the last 3 seasons. So the last 3 seasons, we've got 29, 30 and 29 points. We can only get 27. And if it happens to go Claudio's way of Luton beating us, we definitely won't get close to that. Goals poorer, goals against poorer. We've just not performed as well away from home, weirdly. We all think we've been on a good run. Wins in Swansea, in Sheffield, where we've performed well. Blackburn, first midweek game that we've won away from home in a long time. But the stats just show we're not as good away from home as we want to be. So maybe that's one of the reasons we may miss out on the playoffs. However, looking at the home form, all of these Greens, or most of them, seem to be this season because we are performing the best we have at home since we've returned to the Championship. And that is just a fact. It was clearly very poor and going in the wrong direction under Mark Robins. The change was made and it has worked. We've lost 2 games at home under Frank Lampard, and that's to Leeds, who went top of the league, and Burnley, who went top of the league, who frankly we'd have understood losing that. Last year was actually the worst home form we've had in the Championship, pretty much. We only achieved 35 points at home, less than the COVID year at St Andrews. That's pretty poor considering where we finished that season was just outside the relegation zone, and last season was just outside the playoffs, only just outside the playoffs, based on that semi-final and congested fixtures. So the comparison I'm trying to make here is that this season, compared to 2 years ago when we made the playoffs, we're pretty much performing better. 2 more wins in 1 less game, less draws is kind of a positive in terms of home, because you want to win your home games. If you can win your home, draw your away, you walk the league. It's as simple as that. Win percentage is almost 60%. We've scored 38 goals in 22. We're conceding not as many as last year, and weirdly exactly the same as 2 years ago. So if we keep a clean sheet, it's most identical. The goal difference is better. The point is better. Simply, things are looking good at home, but the stats say not so good away. So maybe Claudio is right. Maybe we will lose to Luton on Saturday, and maybe that we don't need to panic about Middlesbrough because we'll win it. The stats show. There you go.
There we go. Brilliant. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Well done, Jack. Suppose all the comments are going to come in now saying, fantastic job, Jack. That was brilliant, Jack. Superb, mate. Yeah, very good indeed. How on earth you come up with them? I don't know. And I suppose Claudio's now going to give us some stats about this weekend's game.
Well, I mean, overall, we are better than Luton, basically, historically. But that's across 100 years of football, and we've played them. I did have it here, but my thing's scrolled up now because I'm not as professional as Jack. You see, I just we've played them a lot of times.
See, Jack, you put him in his little box.
Yeah,
well, like I said earlier in the show, the last time we beat Luton away was that 3-0 Jordan Shipley free kick, Mark McNulty's header.
Yeah.
It was 1-0 till about the 85th minute till they got a red card, but a 3-0 is a 3-0. And at home, when we turned it around, as Ollie was mentioning, was our first win against them in 12 games. We've got a good record against Luton. 42 wins, 29 losses, and only 19 draws. So
we've won over half the matches against them historically. So we are.
Yeah. And if you take away the last 12 games, so since that 3-0, if you chop off those games, those stats against Luton are impressive. It shows that we are the better team, just maybe not in the modern 5, 6, 8 years. Maybe that's the problem.
I think the thing is, for me, if we get a draw, it'd be the same as what we did in the playoff season. Draw against them up there, so down there or whatever. So it'd be nice to get a point. I'll take a point now. So we just have to see how it goes, and see what goes on.
It's an absolute joke that we're actually in with a shout, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I'd love to put on a show. go back and look at one of our shows in November before Frank Lampard came in, and you listen to us and listen to everybody commentating, apart from Dan, who was convinced we'll get to the playoffs. Nobody else did. I know some people say, "Oh, we'll turn it around." We always turn it around. I'm not sure people were that really convinced, because you're thinking, surely not another season of turning it around. But yeah, it's bonkers, really.
If we don't make it, we've just got to make sure we get a good start next season, haven't we? Really, and really put a push then.
Yeah, and it's interesting what Ollie was saying about their attempt to stay in the Premier League, and the best player they've ever had there in his lifetime was the reason for it. And everybody said that Ross Barkley was absolutely on fire last season for them. Yeah. As soon as he leaves, that's it. It's almost like they've lost the pivot, the fulcrum of the team. It's gone, hasn't it? The engine room, whatever. They completely lost him. So who knows? Who knows Saturday? I'm still not overly confident, to be honest. I'm not confident at all, to be honest. But
right.
Fortress CBS. We've got to remember Fortress CBS.
That's right.
Fortress CBS. Now, what we're going to do before we head off, we've got Spot the Ball winner very, very soon, who will win 2 tickets to go to see Micky Quinn next Friday. And we have another 2 tickets to give away on Sunday. So if you don't win tonight, don't worry. You can get your tickets. Head over to the Walsgrave Working Men's Club Facebook page or Chris Baker's page, or go on our YouTube channel. In our description, you'll find the link there. £10 a ticket, or you can buy on the night as well. So if you don't win tonight. Now, we had a bit of a mad weekend. We went out and about in Plymouth. I'll just show you a few photos. And Ken went missing, and I'll tell you all about that in just a second. There's a surprise. But yeah, so here we all are down at the seafront. Had some lovely fish and chips. This was on Easter Sunday. We were down there. There's Tony Swidek, Kimberly, Martin, Mark and Shannon from Ipswich. There's Neil Thomas there and Ken. We had a nice walk around the shops and everything while we were down there. It was great. These 3 got an ice cream each, as you can tell by their
stomachs.
Yeah, they were enjoying that. And we went to the gin distillery. There's me and my cousin Martin, and we had a little look around there. It was very good. There are some historian things inside the shop, and they had a model of the Mayflower ship that used to take the gin to their port of destination, which was good. Another little group photo there in Plymouth. That's a giant sundial. This was us outside the hotel on match day. So this was the Monday. Sun was shining. We couldn't have been happier. The sun was out. It was great. And the hotel, Moxie, I'll tell you something. I've had a reply from them today. I gave them a real good review. And they sent me a nice little email back today saying thank you for the review, which was quite nice. And Ken even found a number plate after him. I said the number's the wrong way around. So Ken found a number plate. This was us for the live show on the Sunday night. These are the guys from Leamington and Warwick Supporters Club. Jack and Claudia, you might recognise them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul and Matt Garner and Simon Hargreaves with the thumbs up.
They joined us, and Jacko and Marge are in the background there.
I think Mark was there, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah, Mark was there. So, yeah, there we are there. There's Ken's carrier bag.
When I saw that photograph, Miles, I thought you were rapping. It looks like you're doing a bit of rapping there.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Diss track.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It was a lovely, lovely hotel. Really, really nice. And then we had a group photo took in the Weatherspoons down the road. Everyone, seriously, right? The food, breakfast is awful in Weatherspoons.
What do you expect?
There's no flavour. There's nothing to it. So on the Monday, I had breakfast at the hotel. It was way better. But I think Ken left his peas.
Of course it is. Leaves his greens every time. Not good enough.
No. So this was Saturday night. Me and Jack had our bottles of Rattler. Can't go down there without a couple of bottles of Rattler, can you, Vic?
Jealous of that. Love a bit about that.
He even had it on tap. There we all are. The first pub we went in to watch Newcastle play Villa, but Villa won, unfortunately. We were a bit gutted about that. Now, I mentioned about Ken. He went missing. Now, we don't know where he went, but he went missing, and we were searching everywhere for him.
Was he £50 lighter?
No. Well, someone found him. And this was Ken.
Was that really Ken? That's not Ken, is it?
That's great.
Yeah, so he's that's him. Yeah, we were looking everywhere for him, and someone found him. No, it's not Ken. I just put it on because someone found. I don't know who it was. It was someone in Plymouth fell into all the red roadworks. This is on the Sunday night, I think it was.
That's brilliant.
But no, it's not Ken. I just thought I'd say it was Ken because it does look like it on the back, doesn't it? But no, it's not Ken. Bless him. And then this is the old ground. There's the old turnstiles there for the listed. But their stands. As I said it before, it's a listed building, and there's the turnstiles. A bit like Fulham, really. Fulham's got turnstiles like that, which are listed. And there's the new stand at the back of it. So that's your listed stand now, but they had to keep some of it in place. And then they've built around it, which is really nice. And they made us all feel welcome down there in Plymouth. It was a real... Oh, I've showed that one. That's Frank. And then, well, we were going to buy some hats. I tried to get everyone to buy a hat, okay? Because I thought if we wear these hats, the cameras would come away from the Mad Hatters, and they'll come all the way over to us because we were on the front row, all of us. And Tony Swidet was a good idea. He thought, yeah, I'll try one on. If it comes up. There you go. So,
Matches my Christian.
it's a Pikachu hat.
Matches
And
my
what you do
Christian.
is you squeeze, does it? And you squeeze the feet, you squeeze the bottom, and the ears go up and down. But no one wanted to buy one. I thought it would have been great. We could have had all different coloured ones. It would have been brilliant. But yeah, they're all miserable. They didn't want to spend the money. So, but yeah, that's our weekend in Plymouth. There you go. In a flash.
Lots of good.
Let's get-
Oh, that's good.
You like that? It's good, isn't it? Right.
that's-
If you get a few more comments in, and then we'll get the old. Oh no! Before that, congratulations to Bury FC, promotion from the 9th tier of football. I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube today. Absolutely brilliant. I watched it earlier. There's this guy. He went to the ground and he videoed the crowd and everything. They had 8,500 fans in a 9th tier game, but they're all singing Twist and Shout. I ain't having that. I ain't having that. So, yes, well done, Berry, but please don't sing our song. There you go. Congratulations to them, because they've had a tough time, haven't they? They got kicked out the Football League and everything. So, right, let's get a few more comments then, and then we will call it a night after we've done Spot the Ball winner.
Yeah, I think National League South has 7 or 8 teams could still get promoted on the last day or something. Absolutely
it's
nuts,
mad,
isn't it? Absolutely
Crazy.
nuts. Gordon Tulliart went across to Brighton to get my drawing signed, but found out the team was at the CBS Arena, which is just around the corner from my house. It was too late to get there. Typical, isn't it? Marky Boy says, Jack is a great addition to the panel. Well done, Jack, the stat man. Graham Cockrell says, Jack, the club should employ you as you can put your station, I think your stats on the club website. No, he's our property. That's how it works.
it's ours.
If
They've got to
they pay me, I'm available.
No, they'll have to pay you out your contract.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
Transfer
They
fee.
pay me and you, Miles. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you'll have to do some unforgivable things to get out of the contract. Mark Rainbow, it's a bit like in The Godfather, you know, I consider this a gift, but one day I'll come to you and I will, you know, you have to repay me. So, I should have done the impression of The Godfather, shouldn't I? No. So, suggestion, Fordy says, so suggestion to the team, never wear white again. Isn't it daft though, isn't it? The fact that we keep saying, oh no, not the white kit. And every time it's the same performance.
Well, when we got relegated from League One, what colour was the kit?
Yeah.
White.
That's right. It's not good, is it?
No.
Finn says,
The
Miles
two-tone
is
kits have been okay.
Hey?
all right.
The two-tone
that
kits
again.
were okay.
Yeah.
The stats weren't bad in those.
Yeah,
It's
but
just
that's
plain
black
white.
and white.
Yeah.
It was black and white. So it's different.
Yeah, I'd
This is
love
a
it.
white- This is a
I'd love
white
it.
kit.
I'd love it if they just kept the two-tone kit as the third kit all the time.
Yeah.
Finn says, Miles, as Doug is your new mate, tell him to tell Frank any kit but white. James Hollyoak, who decides what away kit we play in? We should always be in sky blue kit as long as it don't clash with the home team's kits. I think
Yeah.
they have to play so many games, don't they?
Yeah, you have to wear you have to wear it so many times. So because they sell it, they have to wear it. I was surprised we were going to wear that kit because they wear green and white. I thought we would have wore black, to be honest. But or we could have wore sky blue and put navy shorts on. That would have looked smart, wouldn't it?
Millwall have Burnley last game, big chance they won't get playoffs unless we both lose on Saturday. That's Scott Beasley. On the up, is there going to be a boxing match at Wembley when we beat Sheffield United? Wilder v Lampard, as they're usually a punch up in the tunnel when Wilder doesn't get the result. You know, he's a terrible loser, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shocking, really. And he tries to call out the opposition every time, and he's part of the problem. I'm not bothered if we finish 5th or 6th just to get to the playoffs. It's amazing. We look lightweight at times. Luton will know it. Hopefully, don't become cannon fodder like Norwich and West Brom. That's from Lee Lishman. Whatever happens, recruitment is crucial in the close season. It definitely is. Pato up front with Wright, says Finn. Fran Hunter, if we lose to Luton and Borough win, it's over. They're 5 goals up on us already, so we could be at least 7 up on that last day. Yeah, but we just got to win because we'll have the same amount of points. It's a weird one, isn't it? Nicholas James, I like Nicholas James. He's been positive throughout this whole show. We're not losing on Saturday. We get a point at the very least. We are going to be in the playoffs. Fact. It's happening. I have faith in Frank and our boys. We're going to Wembley. He did say that to me about 3 or 4 weeks ago, actually. So, yes. Rob Nichols, come on, guys, let's have a little faith. I predict a West Brom performance and a 3-0 win to Super Sky Blues, and everyone will forget Plymouth. And Mick Kelly saying that's better, Claudio, after I said we'll probably lose, but then beat Middlesbrough and make the playoffs. And I'll read one more. Paul Stratton, my thoughts, if we make playoffs, we need to finish 5th. Standard chance. Think Sheffield United will beat us over 2 games. That's the thing. But like I said earlier, and it's basically like a 2-leg semi-final, isn't it? Forget the season. That's done and dusted. It's whatever happens over those 2 games in the final.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. And, you know, when we didn't make it to the Premier League, Middlesbrough were the favourites to go up, weren't they, at the time?
Yeah.
And we did them over, good and proper,
Yeah.
in their own backyard.
We sure did. And we can do it at home this time, which would be even better.
So I'll just read a couple more. Nicholas James. Ken drank himself into oblivion as he knew he had cheated on Claudio. Yeah, don't worry.
Nah.
Scott Brownsall says, Claudio, I've broken the handle off my sky blue mug. Any chance of a replacement? Blimey.
Oh, how have you done that?
That's it.
Right. Don't forget that if you want some coach travel this weekend, last chance to get the coach until the playoffs, and then for the final at Wembley, ccfctravel.co.uk. Head over as well for home parking or off-site parking away as well, coventryparking.co.uk. Right then, here we go. So if you want some mug, let us know. Just email us, and then we'll see if we can sort something out for you. Where are we at? Spot the ball. That's it. Last one. There you go. There's spot the ball. And the winning ball is number 7.
Of course it is. Got it under control, hasn't he?
Yeah, there you go. So, hey, stop it. You won't do that tonight.
He's allowed to do
Right.
that because he makes that joke about Sims every week, so he's allowed to.
Unbelievable. And don't forget to get your votes in. Is now open for your player of the season. I've looked at some of the emails while I was off air, and there's only one winner so far. You're the chance to win next season's home shirt or away shirt. Email skybluefanstv@gmail.com. Right then, Jack, have we got our spinny wheel?
Here it is.
Oh,
Wheel of names.
how many winners? How many winners?
15 winners this week. Everyone's name's on there twice. Good luck to everyone who got it right.
Excellent. And the winner is
Liam. It was the very first entry.
very
I believe.
first.
We got it right. Yeah, from memory. I'm just scrolling up.
Oh, yes, it is. Yeah, it's at the top.
Oh, we did third entry, but the first correct entry in there. No surname. He was watching on YouTube, just Liam. So don't forget to get in contact with us, and we'll get you your prize, and we'll see you next Friday.
Fantastic. Yes, we will get your prize to you. If you're not local and you want to pick it up on the night, let us know. We can meet you at the door, and then we can get that ticket sorted for you. So congratulations, Liam. Email us. It's going across the bottom of the screen, skybluefanstv@gmail.com. And don't forget to get your votes in. Right then, get rid of it. Oh, there it is. Gone. Right. So thank you very much for everyone that watched tonight. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. It's been a great show. There's been lots of comments. We've gone over by at least 15 minutes, I think. What did we say before the show started? Let's finish at 9. No chance. You got no chance. Not with these lot coming in here. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Listen, let's hope the boys turn up Saturday. Let's hope we get 3 points. And don't forget to join Claudio and the team from 5 o'clock for an after show here on YouTube. And they will be live, and you can have your say on the game. Unfortunately, I won't be around. I'm DJing. So if you want to come and see me this weekend, big shout out. I'm down at the Clarence tomorrow night. It's now a carvery. It's called King Carveries. I'll be there tomorrow night from 7:30 till 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then I'm at the Shepherd again this Saturday. Why not come down to the Shepherd? Come and say hello. Come and celebrate down at the Shepherd is what I should be saying. Come and celebrate with the travelling Sky Blue Army who are being there after the Luton game when we secured our place in them playoffs. So come down and have a little drink with me as well, and come and say hello. Thank you, guys. You enjoyed it, Vicky?
Yeah, as always.
Good, Jack. Stato?
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant.
Brilliant. Well done with the stats, mate. Absolutely brilliant. And Claudio, do you enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Great stuff. Excellent. Right, that's a good night from me then. A good night from everybody else. And a big play up Sky Blues. We can do this. Come on.
Play up Sky Blues.
Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.